The NASCAR Cup Series playoffs are now in their semifinals with the round of 8 set, so now these remaining drivers will take their first step to try and lock themselves in the Championship 4 at Las Vegas on Sunday. And in today's episode, we will look at the remaining contenders and how they stack up to these next 3 tracks. Also, Martin Truex Jr.'s mediocre playoff run and who I believe will be in the Championship 4 at Phoenix. So before we get started on this week's episode, let me tell you about our presenting sponsor, Hunt to Harvest. If you are looking to update or upgrade your hunting apparel, then hunttoharvest.com is where you need to go. Their new fall collection is out now, where they have several new shirt designs for both short sleeve and long sleeves, as well as new rope hats in stock. They also still have a great selection of shirts from their spring collection, which is now on sale, and that mystery box special is still going on as well, where you can get 3 designs sent to you for just $33, and for $11 a shirt and the high quality product that Hunt to Harvest puts out, you're not going to find a better deal anywhere else. So head on over to hunttoharvest.com by clicking on the link in the description below, and when you check out, be sure to use that promo code RADNEY18923 at checkout for even more savings. That's RADNEY 18923 at hunttoharvest.com. Well, AJ Allmendinger won Sunday's race at the Charlotte Roval, becoming the first non-playoff driver to win this season. Also, with it being a cutoff race, the championship hopes of Brad Keselowski, Bubba Wallace, Kyle Busch, as well as Ross Chastain came to an end. So now we are down to our final 8 drivers, and on the surface, looking at how these remaining 8 stack up at the next 3 tracks, the top 4 in the standings right now, William Byron, Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, and Kyle Larson, they are all previous winners at Las Vegas, Homestead, Miami, as well as Martinsville. Now, Christopher Bell is the lone winner below that cut line. He won in last year's Martinsville race in walk-off fashion, but still don't write off the rest of those drivers below the cut line. They still have some solid stats at these next 3 tracks. Starting out with Ryan Blaney at Las Vegas, he does have the 6th highest average finish of all drivers at this track. However, he has not scored a top 10 here since 2021. Now at Homestead for Blaney, he did finish 3rd here in 2020. However, outside of that, he has no other top 5s or top 10s at the track. Now for Martinsville, statistically, this is Blaney's best track in this round. He has the highest average finish of all drivers at this track. He's also scored 7 top 5s in 15 starts here, including back-to-back second place finishes in 2020. He also finished 3rd in this race last season. And what impressed me most about Blaney at this track is in 15 career starts here, he has completed all but 4 laps. Now, as for Tyler Reddick, I believe as far as the 4 drivers that are below the cut line currently, Reddick has the best chance of all of them to move on to the Championship 4. Starting out with Las Vegas, he has 3 top 10s in 7 starts here. Probably could have a couple more if not for some bad luck and having some incidents. But outside of that, he did win the pole here last year, showed a lot of speed. But the race that I have circled for Tyler Reddick is Homestead, Miami. This is his kind of track. In 3 starts in the Cup Series, he has 2 top 5s, 2 top 10s. He finished 3rd here in 2021, and this fits his driving style. He is going to be able to get right up against the wall, move all across the track, find different lanes. It fits him. And I think him and Kyle Larson are going to be the drivers to watch at this race. Martinsville is definitely Reddick's worst track in this round. In 7 starts, he only has 1 top 10. That was back in 2021, and since then, he hasn't finished inside the top 15 of this track. Moving on to Christopher Bell, like Reddick, Vegas and Homestead is going to fit his driving style. Those are going to be the best tracks for him to try and either gain the points he needs to get above the cut line or possibly come away with a win. He finished 5th at Vegas in the spring, and he looked strong here last season before being caught up in the controversial wreck with Bubba Wallace and Kyle Larson. At Homestead, he also only has 3 starts, but he did finish 8th in his first start at the track, and he has qualified no lower than 3rd in the previous 2 races there, so he does have speed there. It's just going to be about putting together a complete race. Now, he did win at Martinsville last year to lock himself into the Championship 4, but don't really let those results fool you. That was only his 2nd top 10 in all his starts at Martinsville, and while he hasn't been abysmal at the track, he's been about mid-pack, 15th to 20th. So it hasn't been a terrible track for him, but it's still not somewhere that I would want him to get into a must-win situation at. And finally, you have Chris Buescher. And to me, Buescher and Truex are the 2 biggest question marks remaining in the playoffs. Buescher only has 1 top 10 in 13 starts at Las Vegas. He has none at Homestead, Miami in 7 starts, and only 1 top 10 in 16 starts at Martinsville. Now, RFK has definitely improved this season, and Buescher has outperformed at tracks where he's not always had the strongest stats. But if I had to pick one track to look at Buescher to possibly have a chance to get the win, it would have to be Martinsville. I just believe he has been stronger at short tracks than he has at mile and a halves. And as far as drivers above the cut line, Martin Truex Jr. to me, is the most likely driver to be eliminated. His highest finish in the playoffs so far is a 17th at Texas. Now, his team has played the playoff system exactly for what it is. With all the points he had been able to accrue from all the wins, the regular season championship, it has been enough to get him to this point in the playoffs. And at the start of the playoffs, like many others, I had Martin as my pick to win the championship. He had built up so much momentum coming into the playoffs and been probably the strongest driver throughout the regular season. I mean, leading up to the regular season finale, he had scored 6 straight top 10s, including a win at Loudon. All the momentum was on this team's side. And the question that keeps playing in my head is, has this team just laid back, treaded water, do just enough to get themselves to this point of the playoffs and finally flip the switch and go for it all and go into Phoenix with all the momentum? Or has this team truly lost a step, lost its speed, and all the momentum it gained in the regular season? We'll find out this weekend at Las Vegas, because we're to the point in the playoffs where you can't be thinking that I can just ride around and rest on my playoff points and that get me into the championship 4. Truex is just 15 points above the cut line right now. And say we go into Martinsville and he finds himself in a points battle for that final playoff spot against really any of these guys that are still in the playoffs. That is going to be a tough battle for Martin. Since the start of the playoffs, Martin is ranked 24th of all the drivers in the amount of points gained. That is by far the lowest of any of the playoff drivers, and I know Martin is strong at Martinsville. But so is Kyle Larson, William Byron, Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin. These are not drivers that Martin will want to go head-to-head with if it comes down to it. So at this moment, if I had to make my prediction for the championship 4, it would look completely different than it did at the start of the playoffs. I would have William Byron, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, and Tyler Reddick going for the championship at Phoenix. All 4 of those drivers have been consistent throughout the entire playoff run, and they are in the top 5 of that most points gained since the start of the playoffs. And I think we'll see either William Byron or Kyle Larson come away with the victory at Las Vegas. I could see Tyler Reddick or Kyle Larson also getting the win at Homestead. Then at Martinsville, with the short track package on the next gen car and how difficult it can be to pass, track position is obviously going to be key. And if you have Denny Hamlin up there in contention, and if he has yet to win, if he didn't get the win at Vegas or at Homestead, he's going to be tougher to pass than Ryan Newman, because Denny wants to get that first championship so bad and get that monkey off his back. Now, obviously, we could have a non-playoff driver win yet again like we saw with AJ this past weekend, and that would open up another spot on points. And I still say, out of all the drivers, with the way they've all ran at these tracks and throughout the playoffs, Martin Truex Jr. to me has the biggest hill to climb, especially if it comes to a points battle. So feel free to comment below. Let me know who's in your championship 4 right now and who you could see winning any of these next 3 races. And that'll wrap up today's episode of 3 Wide. As always, thank y'all for joining me and watching along. If you haven't done it yet, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you will know when our new videos and shorts drop. I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their week, and we will see y'all next time here on 3 Wide.